So good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is the next segment in our webinar series. So today's topic is financial services, comeback solutions for banks in the next normal. So first, folks, everyone is automatically muted, so don't worry about that. We'll use the chat function. If you have any questions or anything as you go through, you can just chat the panelists. It doesn't have to go to everyone in the audience. We'll monitor that and we'll bring your questions forward as they come through. So do feel free to just kind of pipe in as we go and send those questions through. My name is Stephanie Drago, and I've been here in the industry for 9 years and working e-commerce, marketing, and all things digital for over 20 years. So I'm excited to be with you all today, sharing pro tips and ideas specifically for financial services. So first, we wanted to get to know kind of who you guys, who you're seeing the opportunity with your kinds of clients. So I'm going to launch a little poll here, really just asking what types of clients are you seeing in financial services? Banks, investment houses, that kind of a thing. So while we go through that, I'll introduce all of our speakers. So Adam Christensen, you've been with Navitor going on 5 years, our folders and packaging extraordinaire, right, Adam?
Yeah, that's correct. And I was actually working on a printing press before that. So been in print for almost 10 years now, but with Navitor with 5. So been able to learn a lot about the products, but folders in general is my topic that I work on most.
Nice. And Sheena Dallas. Sheena has 20 years in print and is one of our top sales leaders. She specializes in distributors who are moving from promo and expanding into print. So how are you doing, Sheena?
Hi, everyone. I'm happy to be a part of the webinar today.
We're happy to have you. And Ash Ingebretson, our specialist in print for all things tiny. You've been with us for 3 years. So hey, Ash.
Hi, everybody. Yep, I am here to be the label expert for you, so you don't have to be.
I love that line. All right, so let's look at our the poll results then. So let me just share those. So I was thinking banks would be number 1, and that is, really the largest segment of this sector. It's the foundation of not only the financial services sector, but really the whole economy. So typically large commercial banks, but also credit unions and community banks. So put in the chat there what you're seeing when you're working with the different banks and who you're working with. I'm also seeing, it looks like finance companies are coming in next, tied with, or almost tied with insurance companies. So that makes sense there too. Insurance, we do definitely have some more webinars out there. So that might be helpful. So returning to the office or healthcare. We're coming out soon with auto as well. So some of those might be, you might have another opportunity to learn a little bit more there too. All right, so thank you very much for sharing kind of who you're seeing as the most opportunity there. So let's get going. In the last 2 weeks, some of the things that we've heard from you was not just recommendations on topics, but actually some of your concerns. And these concerns were around feeling like you're bugging people, feeling like you're not being taken seriously, feeling sort of, frankly, that kind of degree of hopelessness and helplessness. And given the situation globally, I mean, it makes sense for all of us. We're all feeling that sometimes. So when we go into the agenda next year, today we wanted to talk about the product recommendations and the success stories. We're going to talk more candidly about the selling process and how it felt as we went through those stages. With 96% of the webinar attendees saying these webinars are making an impact on their business, and 2/3 of those saying they strongly agree that it's making an impact, I want you to know that you're in the right place to start making a difference. So close off the distractions, turn off your email, turn off your phone, put it on silent, put it to the side, don't half-ass this. Really listen, really try to learn, ask questions. We've got a lot of different customer experiences as we're coming into this, and we can probably give some interesting information that might help you grow your business. So what I thought we'd really dig in today is starting with some industry tips and background.
Thanks, Stephanie. So today we're going to cover some tips, tools, and resources as your customer starts to reopen. So here are some guidelines to follow and understand before you reopen and how you can pivot and recalibrate to gain more success with the new times. So So the new big thing is contactless payments. This is the new technology that everybody's using. So once you're in the store, you see people slide their card. You also see them use their phone. So these are for seamless transactions. So cash is kind of really going away. So a fun little story. So my bank sent me out a new little card, and of course I was super excited to go ahead and use it. So I was out there shopping, and on the partitions, there was a touchless logo, right? So of course I tried it. I just couldn't believe how easy the transaction was. So this is going to be the new wave for social distancing when it comes to transactions and payments. So we're going to have some tips here to familiarize yourself with, and you can share it with your customer. Your aim is to be your customer's expert and guide them as they're reopening. So I'll tell you another little story. So I worked, not me in general, but we worked with a major bank, a huge bank, and they started to bring back their employees, right? So they started to open new lobbies in different states. So they really just had one agenda in mind, and that was to keep their employees safe and their staff safe. So they ordered things like glass partitions, partitions, floor graphics, wall graphics. So this deal was humongous. The deal was over like $500,000. And of course, this was good for everyone except for me. So my point here is you're going to find a lot of great tools. You can learn from other regions and other products that they use to open successfully. So we're focusing on financial institutions, credit unions and banks, and all the challenges that they've been facing and providing solutions that work well. So we're working with distributors to help manage the different changes and experiences that we're all going through, and the products that are going to work well in that industry. So while banks and financial institutions are starting to open, it's really, really important that we're catching the eyes from cars driving by or people walking by. So we want to try to draw those people in that are passing. So a little statistics, right? So when will banking normalize? So almost all 50 states have partially began to reopen, and 30 of those states are on limitations once again. So many branch lobbies remain closed except by appointment. So drive-through banking, digital banking, and all call centers handle almost all retail and commercial banking needs. So regionally, it can be just a little bit different. I have a customer that's out in Arkansas, and all of the banks are completely closed, right? But here in New York, they're all closed, right? Except for appointments or drive-throughs. So as you can tell, it really depends on your region and what is open and what is closed. So like I talked about in our previous slide, you really want to get the attention from people passing by saying, hey, our lobbies are open, not just the drive-through, come in and visit us. So you can use soft signage like sale signs or banners. And what I'm seeing all over the place when I'm driving is yard signs. You can see them in that little grassy boulevard near the parking lot, or the grassy area next to the drive-through, near the drive-through. You can put something on like, our lobbies are open, come and visit us, or maybe a little a refinancing rate offer. So what this is for is just to grab your customers' attention, right? You want them to come in, and not to mention these are low minimum quantities. They can be ordered in bright, full colors on the face of them to draw people in. So decals is big. Decals and sticker sheets are the perfect way to add updated lobbies to all entryways to inform your customers of safety and security policies. So for example, here in New York, you can't wear a face mask in the lobby, but it really depends on what state you're in and what region you're in, and it really varies state to state. So posters, right? You see posters everywhere. They're just a great way to portray a message that your customer is looking for, like finance offers or interest rates, or just could be a way to inform your members on guidelines and reopening, or maybe just washing your hands. So, so we have a whole bunch of different options that you can use. So moving on.
Sheena, Sheena, I was getting a question actually, so maybe sorry to interrupt you.
Okay.
We just have a question from the audience, and so they're looking at a bit more about product innovation. You might be getting that into the next slide, but maybe you could touch on that.
So product innovation. So we actually just came out with a durable synthetic stock that can be sanitized or wiped down to keep the surface clean. They're durable, so you can reuse them. You can use like brochures, door hangers, menus, anything like that. And they're really, really popular this year.
Cool. Thanks.
So, so door hangers are great to be used in the community, and they can offer home equity loans or refinancing rates. And as you know, postcards are super popular, right? You can add a QR code for online banking, or also postcards are really low cost and effective. So with a lot of people working from home, I know the highlight of my day is actually going to the mailbox. So super lame, but it works, right? So, so just to tell you like a quick little story, I received a postcard in the mail saying that it's going to save me money and to refinance. And of course, you know, I thought about it for a little bit and I didn't think really much of it. And then a few days later, I got a follow-up letter, right? And the follow-up letter said, hey, it's going to lower my interest rate. It's going to save me a whole bunch of money on my payment. So, guess what I did? I refinanced, right? So it really, really works. You can use this for marketing tactics, mailing campaigns, flyers, mailing envelopes, appointment cards, whatever you need, portraying just communication back and forth to your members. So most people at this time find it really, really safe to use the drive-through, right? So in that case, you can just use a label and you can put it on top of the bank canister saying sanitized, or you can just use an A-frame sign or a sandwich board. It's just a great way to communicate and signify open and closed lanes. Or you could just use a stencil and paint on the pavement saying with directional arrows. So these are some great products that you can definitely use. So just another great idea is rat cards. You can use them for marketing interest rates or small business options, or you could just use them and tuck like a little card in an envelope saying, thank you so much for your business. Customers really appreciate stuff like that. So yeah, we have a lot of products that you can use. And so I know I covered a lot of ideas for outside of the business. So I'm going to go ahead and send it off.
I was going to totally interrupt you, Sheena.
Oh, go ahead.
I went through a drive-through, and so this is like 100 days into the pandemic, and there was, you know, like the little tubes that get shot up, and this is a top 10 bank, right? And this bank, I bet somebody just printed in the back office an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and, you know, taped it to the thing. So it's like been ripping and blowing in the wind, yet that's like the primary means to explain their times, you know, of operations, their policies for the lobby, and like how you have to do deposits a little differently. Like all their, like, it's actually really important information, and it's on this ratty wind-blown piece of paper that, like, 2 weeks into the pandemic or 30 days into the pandemic made total sense, but you know, they're still doing it 100 days later, and that's a top 10 bank. And it just shows there's a lot of opportunity to, you know, to be clear, you know, with the messaging and be more professional. So I thought you'd like to hear that story.
Oh yeah. And that's why it's so important for distributors to have a good relationship with their customers, because they can offer the different products and they come across a lot more professional. So Adam, are you ready?
I am. Thank you, Sheena. Now, obviously, with getting everyone inside the building, the lobby is going to be a huge concern now. You think back in the day when well, actually it's 9 back then. It's just a couple months ago. You see people that, long lines, very close together, people just sitting around waiting for the loan officers or mortgage officers to help them out and stuff like that, sitting very close. That's not going to be able to happen now with social distancing and everything like that. So there's a lot of good products that we have to offer and ideas that we have to offer for your financial customers to keep social distancing going and keep customers and employees safe. The one case study that we actually want to bring up today, though, is a technology solution that we had for a customer that was looking for an easy way to order their stuff online and have it be easy transition and not have to worry about delays about getting POs out, set, and everything like that. These customers are working very short hours, so they don't have the time to do all this kind of stuff because they have to focus on everything else. So we actually came up with an online platform for our customers, so they are able to take the 7 suppliers that they're working with and combine them all into one, which was Navitor. We have so many products that we can offer and turn it into a great solution for their customers so they can go online, place their order, and have that just go to us. We had worked out all the details with legalities that they need on it, brand guidelines that they have to have on it. We had that all templated into that site, so their employees weren't necessarily messing with the color because they wanted a certain green or they wanted a certain gray or anything like that. They were all templated and built into the system, so all they had to do was just change contact information or just hit reorder, and they were able to go from there. The great thing with it is the revenue was supposed to be, or it's expected to be around $30,000 to $40,000, which is expected to be doubled compared to last year. This was going to be a tricky situation that we were going to be going into because they originally wanted a very small order of pocket folders, which we start at a minimum of 50, but it's same thing with promo. The higher quantity you go up, the better per piece price you're going to get. When you're starting with 25 to 50, the per piece price is so high and people kind of get scared at that. So we were able to speak with our distributor, give them some information more about, hey, turn this into a general folder, order a larger quantity, and there'll be a fulfillment in there. And since they ordered that larger quantity, they got a better per piece price, which saved them money in the long run because they're ordering on this website 25 to 50 folders. Well, they're already done, so they can streamline that, place it, and go. So it worked out great for them. Once we get into the lobby, though, you're going to be seeing obviously some different things. Acrylic partitions, we see them everywhere, but they're going to be needed at these teller stands just to keep the customers and employees safe. They can be customized with decals that can be put on there from our labels division. So that's a great opportunity to promote the brand or promote any social distancing requirements that need to be done. Floor decals that can be printed full color, custom shapes, anything like that to say social distancing or a special message or welcome or anything like that are going to be seen all across the lobby. And then counter decals saying that these have been cleaned and sanitized, special messaging, anything to give more information to the employee that, hey, we care about your service, care about your business that you guys are doing with us. We're doing our stuff to keep this thing going and keeping everyone safe. Retractable banners are also good because it's displaying where the sanitizer stands are to keep everything clean, keep your hands clean when you guys are done. So having those messages, having just a big banner actually pointing where they're at so it stands out even more so customers aren't just looking around, figuring out where they need to go. It's a great eye-popping tool for them to use. Customer engagement, writing instruments, everyone knows the pen with the chain on it, so no little pens get stolen from the bank. Well, how many people were touching that pen then? With the spread of germs and stuff like that, with COVID going on, no one really wants to touch something that's going to be reused again. So ordering stylus pens or wrap pens that we offer are a great opportunity for banks to promote their brand still, but also just a little gift because a person can take that pen and then walk right out the door with it once they're done with it. So it's a great way to not spread germs, but also give a little gift back to your customer. Brochures that are actually pre-designed too on Navitor.com. So we do have pre-designed ones, but you also can design your own either on Navitor.com's platform, or if you have a graphic designer in there, you can design it the way you want to, the way your customer wants to spread information, store hours, anything like that. And then also sanitizer stands. These are ones that are actually customized to your customer's brand. Normally you see with anywhere, it's just the Purell stands that are very gray and boring looking and just promote Purell, essentially.
Yes.
These ones are custom made in the United States, actually in Mankato, Minnesota, and they are able to offer or hold 4 gallons of sanitizer gel. So it's something, this is a great opportunity to just absolutely promote your customer brand, just have it stick out more and everything like that. Just a little note, we are doing tabletop ones soon. Those will be coming out soon. So keep an eye out for those for the smaller ones if they don't want a big 4-gallon one. So don't forget, the lobby's not the only thing that you have to, or your customer has to worry about. You also have to worry about conference rooms, office space, and waiting areas. A couple of ideas that are good for you guys are good for your customers are pocket folders. Obviously, I'm going to promote that. That's my division, so I'm going to obviously do that. But they're great for holding loan papers or employee policies. We have different sizes, so depending on the size of the document, we have those for you. We can help you out there for sure. But also in the waiting area, people are going to be bringing their kids in. Kids get bored very easily. Just ask my kids. So sticker sheets are great for them to play around with and everything. So, and they all can be customized in shapes and again, promoted to your customer's brand. And then also wall posters honoring essential business workers. We will always want to promote, hey, we are thinking about these people that are going through this kind of stuff and have to be doing a bunch of different things that just give them a higher risk to COVID. So just having that kind of information out on those walls are great to see and a great motivational boost for it. With that, I will pass it on to Ash, and she'll start giving you guys some tips on how to sell these type of products to your customers.
Hi, everybody. So we're in a really trying time right now, and everything is completely different. We don't really know how to approach customers and offer the products that you guys are looking for, they might be looking for. So with the Print and Promo magazine, there's actually a wonderful article in there about how we can kind of come back from everything that's going on. There's recommendations for selling with anything from manufacturing, healthcare, and financial for your customers. There's the full link in here and then some finance specific links as well. I definitely suggest reading the articles. They're great. They have a lot of good tips in there that will be able to help you speak to your customer on a different level of kind of around what we're going through right now. So we have a few starter questions. Generally, the best way to go about it is ask about 2 to 4 questions to kind of get the ball rolling. I know on the label side, the first question we're going to ask you is, what is it being applied to? That's a huge question. So we'll be able to offer you different substrates, different types of products that we're able to do, like if it's going to be stuck to the floor, if it's going to be stuck to a wall, stuff like that. Everything can be customizable. You don't have to go directly out of the catalog. The sky is the limit. We do ask what your budget is. We'll be able to offer different substrates for that as well, different products. We'd like to get you the best that we have to offer on the best dollar and everything that we can do for you to make your customer happy. We'll maybe ask what has worked before in the past, if there was something that they've done before and you're trying to figure out how you can duplicate it or make it better. And then what is your target audience? Right now, everybody is around social distancing. You can't go into a bank or anywhere else without having to be at least 6 feet apart. There's decals on the floor. and on the acrylic partitions. So those are huge and good questions to start by asking your customers on where they're really trying to focus on and what they're trying to reach for their audience. So when reaching out to your customers, we want you to be able to reevaluate everything, reevaluate your content for the relevancy of what the situation is. So like we were saying, going into banks right now, some banks you can't go in. I know that for my bank, I'm not allowed inside. It's all we have to go through the drive-through. They'll have you sign papers for loans and everything through the drive-through. So keeping that information and knowing what is going on and being up to date is the best way to go about coming with the best solution and the resources provided for you that we're able to help with, because everything is changing daily. It's opening and then closing and then opening again. Everything is just all over the place. So being able to be kept up to date and having those resources to be able to walk up to a bank door and see that you have to wear a mask or you're not allowed inside, or having signs out in the front telling you if their lobby's open or if they've closed again. All different ways to go about and asking your customers if that's what they really want to push. And the big signs that you put out in the front yards or out in the grassy area, those are huge. You see those driving by and you're gonna stop and look a little bit to see what it says. We have a bunch of different resources. There's many things that you can customize through our websites. We're partners with Zoom, so you can customize catalogs and flyers. And going through the website, it will have all the information you need. It will have tips. And if you need quick turnaround times and quick returns on your quotes, you can get those all through the website. They're web to press, so it's very quick process, and it will help you with artwork as well. If your resolution is too low, it has tips for figuring out the right kind of artwork to supply to us or being able to upload. All of those are in your help and resources. It will be super helpful if you need just something quick to reference and run back to when you're talking to your customer.
All right, Ash, should I take this one then?
Yes.
All right. So Ash, she really put together a lot of good advice there. So thank you, Ash. And since we're still getting more questions, every day about sales follow-up, I mean, it's kind of a big bucket there, but what are the recommendations? So we thought we would condense this all into a couple of main points that are literally things that you can do and say in your emails right now. So the key is that first, your time is too expensive. Your customer's time is too expensive, especially right now. So don't waste it. Don't fall into that email follow-up abyss. I mean, we've all seen it, where you're like, oh, sorry to bug you, but just wanted to follow up, and that those emails just aren't getting answered. And so here are a few very specific things to try to do to help those conversations keep going forward. So in the very first conversation, you want to know exactly how your customer wants to follow up. So Ash gave a good examples of, asking those starter questions, going through the process with them, but make sure before you hang up that you understand what they want to do to follow up. So saying things like, I like transparency. Let me know if something changes. Would you prefer if I call you? Or would you email me? What works best for you? Where are you likely to follow up? You don't want 10 emails from me, and and I don't want to send you 10 emails if it's just going to blow your inbox. That kind of a thing is okay to say, and they appreciate it too, because it shows that you're using your time wisely and are a smart business person. That's a good move. Be specific and fast about your timeline for quotes with custom products, which is really the feature of what Navitor does, right? These quotes can be extremely fast. We have thousands of products on Navitor.com that can be quoted immediately. And we have the online pricing calculator that members there can get access to. And you just flow through the product to specifications that you want to get the price that you need it to be. The last thing is don't be lame and just say, I'm following up. Be specific and action-oriented. So talking like, saying things like, I have new pricing since we last spoke, or I found a great price, or I found what you were looking for. I want to pick up where we left off. That kind of a thing is much more action-oriented to say with your clients than the you know, it's been joked, I've heard before, of calling follow-up as the F word. I mean, so however you want to look at it, you know, it's that kind of thing, is just being a bit more proactive, not necessarily aggressive, just proactive. So that really takes us to the time today. So we have more questions in the chat that we've been posting answers to you folks. Several of the questions have been around, how can we get a copy of this? On Navitor.com, you can find all the slides and all the recordings to any of the webinars, including today's. As you have all registered, we will be sending an email this afternoon, and you'll get the recording and the slides as well in that venue there. You'll get that ahead of when we post it to the rest of the members on Friday. So everyone will get it there. The last thing is that we know you're spread very thin, so visit the Navitor.com website so that you can get your hand on all of these flip books that are catered to each of the industries that are top for our distributors. One line I heard from a distributor was that these materials are like gold in front of customers, because they really can be branded to you, can be branded to your customer, however you want to do it, but they come with very specific product recommendations during these times. So thank you all for joining us today. We appreciate your feedback. We have a survey that'll pop up as you log off the webinar. Thank you to all the panelists for your tips and experience. Thanks to the folks on the call today for your time and engagement. We'll stay behind the curtains so that you can get out there and start to sell. So thanks guys, and we'll talk again soon.
Everyone.
Bye.